Good morning, juniors. We are here to talk about registration for next year. You're going to be registering for your last year at Eden Prairie High School. Our hope for you today is to be able to know the following things by the time you leave. We want you to know what your graduation requirements are. We want you to know how to pick the appropriate classes for next year that will allow you to graduate, as well as prepare for post-secondary options, as well as help you make sure that you have balance in your life and you have rigor, but you also have time to relax. We're going to talk about what resources are available to help you choose classes. We're also going to talk about the important registration dates, and finally we'll talk about how you go online and register. What we have now is a timeline. This is really important that we follow the timeline and have all students registered by February 10th. So starting today, January 29th through the 10th, online registration will be open to all students. Then we are going to have walk-in times in the counseling office on January 30th, February 3rd, 5th, and 9th. Well, we are available all day except for between 12 and 1 for you or your parents to come in with any registration questions you might have. Then this is just a reminder. Some of you use old course guides to look at classes. All of the course numbers have changed for this year. So if you are looking at an old course guide, make sure that you look at the course guide online for the appropriate numbers. Okay, then a couple more reminders that are very important. You've heard this before, but we can't stress this enough. Make sure that you register for courses you intend to complete. As you know, it's very difficult to change classes, and we don't let students drop classes unless there's a very good reason. Also, look carefully at the prerequisites for courses to make sure that you have those. And then the registration recommendations. You don't have to follow a recommendation for a class. However, the recommendations are made by the teachers who teach those classes, and they are set to help you follow what you need to be successful in a class. Also, make sure that you talk with teachers to see what they recommend. Teachers know you and they know the curriculum, and they're the best ones to help you figure out what the appropriate class would be. Then a couple of things to think about when you're registering for your senior year. It's important to challenge yourself, but also keep in mind that you want to have a healthy life next year. So pick classes that offer challenge and rigor while balancing health and wellness. Also understand that your course selections are a list until the master schedule is made. So we can't have conversations about where classes are put in your schedule because we don't know actually when classes will be offered. Also, make sure that you know the requirements for your graduating class and make sure you have those requirements or you've registered for them. And then remember to register for up to 16 credits. Also, just something to think about is that many students work really hard the first 3 years and then they think that they have requirements done and they think they want to relax their senior year. This is not a good idea. Colleges are looking for rigor throughout the 4 years. Then this is just a reminder of our schedule change policy to help you, just to stress that it's important to register carefully. Choose wisely because the reasons for changing course selections after registration will be limited to not having a prerequisite. If you failed a class and you need to retake it, obviously if there's an error we would make changes. If you need a class for graduation that you don't have scheduled, or if you need a class for college, a college that you know you're going to attend and you don't have that particular class. And then we always want to try to balance schedules. So if you have 2 open hours at one time or 4 core classes at the same time, that would be a good reason to try to make a change. So then just remember seniors are required to carry a minimum of 3 classes per term. And obviously open hours may not be where you want them to be. Okay, so just a review for you to make sure that you have what you need. For graduation, you need to have 8 credits of English, 8 credits of social studies, 6 credits of math, including geometry, algebra 2, and statistics, 6 credits of science, including chemistry or physics, 2 Phy-Ed classes, 1 health class, a computer applications class, either computer technology or intro to computer science. Then you also need another business credit and 2 creative arts credits. You need 54 credits to graduate. Obviously, you need to complete the required courses. And for you, the graduation state tests have changed. Your graduating class is going to need the ACT test plus writing. What's different for you is that all students in the state of Minnesota will be giving the ACT on April 28th. It will be free, and the graduation requirement is to just take that test. It doesn't matter how you score on the test. So when you're looking at your transcript to make sure that you are on track for graduation, you should have a minimum of 40.5 credits at the end of this year. Couple things about credit makeup. Making up required classes has also changed a little bit, or making up even elective classes. If you have an incomplete in a class, you need to register for summer school or go to after-school credit recovery. You can see your counselor to talk about either of those choices, or else you should also see your counselor if you fail a class, because a failed class can only be redone next year. So see the counselor that is assigned to you, and we will help you with making up those incompletes or failed classes. Then just a reminder about some honors that you can get when you graduate. If students have a 3.9 to a 4.0 GPA, they will have a gold cord to wear during this ceremony. If they have a 3.75 to a 3.89, they'll have a silver cord. Then there's also the honors diploma, which is a red cord. Students who earn the honors diploma will have 6 or more advanced placement, college in the schools, PSEO, or Project Lead the Way credits. You must also have a GPA of a 3.5 or above. And the eligibility for the honors diploma will be determined at the pass no credit deadline for 4th term next year. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about your choices for classes next year. We have English, regular English 12 A and B, honors English 12 A and B, which requires a summer reading, and AP English 12 A and B. And you can see that for the AP English, you need to complete an information packet with short essay answers and a sample essay. There's a summer reading, and then as you can see, there's a registration recommendation. So again, for those classes such as English, math, science, ask your teacher that you have this year to make recommendations. Then to keep going and talk about social studies requirements, many of you will have taken World History 1 or Honors World History this year. If you didn't take it this year or you won't take it this year, make sure you take it next year. Along with that, many of you have already done World History 2 or AP Politics or Advanced Placement European History. Again, if you haven't done those courses this year, make sure you sign up for them for next year. Then there are 2 more classes that you need to have to get your social studies requirements. One is American Government. The choices for the government credit is the Globalization and American Citizenship, Advanced Placement U.S. Government, or the combined AP U.S. Government AP Politics class, which covers 2 credits. And then the last social studies credit you need is economics, and you can do that either the regular economics and public policy class, or you might want to do the advanced placement macroeconomics. Okay, so then math options. A lot of you already have these courses, but just to make sure you have what you need for graduation, obviously you know there's geometry A and B, which is a requirement. You can do regular or honors. And then there's algebra 2 that's required. You can do, or maybe you have done one of those classes either in 2 terms or algebra 2 and 4 or honors algebra 2. Then students also need statistics, and you can choose between intro to statistics, which is 1 term, statistics A and B, or AP statistics. Then we always recommend that if you can go above and beyond the requirements, we don't want you to stop taking math, because even if colleges don't require more than algebra 2, it's always good to keep going as far as you can. So if you have room in your schedule and you are successful in math, you can go on to pre-calc A and B or honors pre-calc A and B. After that, there's calc A and B, and then AP calc A and B, part 1 and 2. The last course that you can take, the highest level math at Eden Prairie High School, is calc 3 A and B. Then for science options, You should have by now Science 9 A and B, Biology A and B, and you may have already covered the last requirement, which is chemistry or physics. If you need to do one of those, the choices are alt chemistry, chemistry A and B, honors chemistry A and B, or advanced placement chemistry A and B, although to do the advanced placement chemistry, you need to have one of the classes above. If you don't want to do chemistry or you haven't done it, then you need to do physics. And here are your choices for physics. Physics A and B, honors physics A and B, AP physics, which is one term, so you would need to have, if you do that, you'd have to have another one. AP physics 2, or a new class, which is AP physics special topics. Then some other science electives, if you're interested in going on, are science around you, botany and horticulture, anatomy and physiology, and advanced placement biology. And again, depending on what your hopes and dreams are for after high school, it might be a good idea to do more science. Okay, then we're going to talk about world languages. A lot of people think that a world language is a requirement for graduation, and it is not a requirement for graduation. Although many or most four-year colleges want students to have at least 2 years of a world language. So we recommend to keep your options open to make sure that you can go to some kind of post-secondary education. We recommend that students do at least 2 years of the same language. So as you know, the choices are French, German, Spanish, Chinese, and American Sign Language. Then there's Project Lead the Way. This is another great way where you can get college credit. We're lucky enough at Eden Prairie High School to have many elective classes that can fit people's skills and interests very well. So the Project Lead the Way classes, again, if you earn a B or better and score 70% or higher on the exam, you can get college credit for taking architectural and civil engineering, principle of engineering, digital electronics, or intro to engineering and design. Okay, so then we put this slide in here just to remind you to take some time looking at the registration guide. Being that we're one of the biggest high schools in Minnesota, we have a large amount of classes and electives. So there could be classes out there that you would really enjoy, and we want to make sure that you're aware of them. So to take some time and look at the classes that are offered under the various departments. Then there have been a couple minor changes to the course guide this year, and we want to make sure that you're aware of them. One is in the business department, the Excel and More for the College Bound. That class is a new name. It's the same class, but it's a new name for spreadsheets and databases. Also, there's contemporary fiction, which is a little bit of a name change. There's topics in literature, sports, lyrics and literature, journalism and media studies, sports broadcast, Eagle Nation, and then the last one is an additional orchestra class. Then a couple more new classes. There's racket sports. This is a class that's open to 9th through 12th graders, so if you haven't finished or completed your 2 credits of Phi-Ed, you need to take classes that were typically open to 9th and 10th graders. They added this class so if you're an older student, you won't be with all 9th and 10th graders. So the racket sports is a good option for those students who still need to fulfill one or both of those gym requirements. There's also a new course called Winter Outdoor Adventure. Then, like you have seen on the slide previous, there's an advanced physics special topics class. There's also 2 more classes that will be taught in the social studies department. One is Assassination Fascination, and the other one is America War Post World War II. Okay, then just a reminder, you hear this from us all the time, but we want to make sure that you have the requirements to graduate as well as preparing yourself for life after high school. We know that there are many options for students and there are many different appropriate places for students. So we want you to be prepared for graduating high school and going on to some kind of secondary schooling that fits you and your needs and wants. We want people to know if they're planning to go to a 4-year college, the requirements often include 4 years of English, 3 years of math, including Algebra 2, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, 2 years of a world language, and 1 year of fine art. So this is just a reminder, the fine arts requirement. Some schools are looking for fine arts. So that would be something in the music department or something in the art department. For us, we require creative arts, which could be something like advanced woodcrafting or sewing or that sort of a thing. So when you're looking at college or possible colleges for next year, you might notice that you need to take care of the fine arts. Okay, then just this slide is just to talk to you about a little bit about a great way for you to get your foot in the door and try out college a little bit while still in high school, and you can get college credits and high school credits, and it is free. So you can start out your college career after next year already having some college credits. The post-secondary enrollment option is a way where you can go to college, and we kind of call it double dipping. So for example, you could go to college and do freshman composition, and that could count as your freshman college English as well as your senior English. The PSEO colleges have deadlines. The first deadline would be for the University of Minnesota, and that's April 1st. So we will need to talk to you if you're interested in going to PSEO. There's an application and there's requirements for courses. I mentioned that the first deadline that comes up is April 1st because what we really would like you to do is register for classes here at the high school, assuming you're not going to take classes at college. And then after the registration deadline, come and see us and we'll talk to you more about how you can go to college and have a count for high school and college. Okay, another great opportunity for students who would like to use part of their day or spend part of their day in college is the HTC classes. There are 6 different HTC course numbers. As you can see below, those are the times when the classes are offered. Each course is a semester-long course, and it takes up 4 blocks, and students earn 3 credits. For Hennepin Technical College, if you drive, you could go yourself to the 8 o'clock class and come back here for 3rd and 4th hour, or you can come here for 1st and 2nd hour and then drive to HTC. Or if you'd like to take the bus, there's a bus that takes you to the 10 o'clock class. If you're interested in doing an HTC class, see your counselor by February 20th, and there's an application for HTC which we would need to get back by February 20th. And here's just an example of some of the interesting courses at HTC. In the Health Careers Department, there's Nursing Assistant or Medical Terminology. There's a really neat Transportation Department where you can do auto repair or automotive. Then in the Human Services Department, there's Law Enforcement. There's a Culinary Department where you can do really neat culinary classes. There's Construction. And then there's a new course they're offering, which is a Technology course. These are all classes that are hands-on, and you could continue after graduation if you'd like to get certified in those areas. Okay, so this is just something about important deadlines. If you're interested in doing the yearbook or newspaper, you can pick up an application for that in the English Resource Room. The applications are due February 6th. You may not know if you have been accepted into the yearbook or newspaper until after or you won't know until after the registration deadline. So please register for classes like you are not going to be doing yearbook or newspaper, and once we know that you've been accepted, we will adjust your registration. And we wanted just to add this slide to make sure that you're prepared and get you kind of fired up about something that we're really proud of at Eden Prairie High School. We are the only high school in Minnesota that has an on-site admissions program. You may already know about this, or you may have seen that last October there were representatives from about 27 different schools, and they had appointments with people, and they were accepting hundreds of seniors to 1 or more colleges on that date. We'll be doing this again next year in October, and there will be many of the common schools that our students apply to, and you can see examples below. For many schools, you need to make sure that you have taken the ACT test. What is nice for you is that this year, like I said before, all students are taking the ACT in April, so you'll be prepared with that ACT score for the on-site admissions date. We will be talking to you during the first week or 2 of school next year to give you more information and the requirements for each school. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Naviance. You're probably aware by now whenever we do presentations, it usually has something to do with Naviance. Naviance is a great tool to help you register for classes that fit you perfectly. With Naviance, as you know, you can do career interest inventories, you can do a personality type assessment, and there's all kinds of resources where you can get examples about careers and majors and how to set yourself up so you're prepared for whatever you do after high school. So we're going to use Naviance for you to make sure that you have the requirements that you need for graduation as well as plan for next year. So what we would like you to do is go to the high school website, and you probably already know how to do this, but if not, we'll remind you, go to Quick Links and then log in, and then you can see how you log in. You use your student ID and you use your password for your birthday. And as you can see, or maybe you remember, for your birthday you don't use leading zeros if it's a single digit, and for the last digit, for the last part, you use the whole year. So once you have logged in, we're going to ask you to go to the About Me tab. And then once you find the About Me tab, click on that, and you'll see over on the left a 4-year plan symbol. So what we'd like you to do, and this will take probably all of 5 minutes, is go through the classes and click on the classes that you've had. This is to make sure that you haven't missed any requirements. Then on the bottom, we'd like you to list the courses that you're taking this year in 11th grade. And on the and then on the very bottom, we'd like you to list your 12th grade classes. You'll see the extra lines on there. With younger students, we're having them identify the classes they're going to take for the upcoming years, but since you're really only planning for 1 more year, we'd like you to just put in your current classes and then your plan for next year. When you're all done, make sure you hit the update button, and you can always go back and update this list. Okay, so then the last thing we want you to do is know how to register. To register, you're going to go to the registration area on the high school webpage and click on it, and then you're going to use your student ID and the number, for the username you're going to use your student ID, and for your password you're going to use your PIN number followed by the word learn. So just want to remind you, this is different than going into Naviance. This is about going into campus and registering for classes for next year. So some quick reminders. It's really important to talk with teachers about their recommendations. They're pretty good at making good recommendations. Then see us if you have questions during our walk-in days. We really like it when people sketch out their 4-year plan or list it in Naviance, and we can look at it with you and just go over if it makes sense or if something's missing or if we have some recommendations. Look carefully at the course guide online too. Like I said, there's a lot of really good courses that people miss because they aren't reading the course guide. And then again, Naviance is a fantastic tool to help you figure out what classes will meet your needs and wishes. Then also make sure that you remember the registration dates. It's really important that everyone is registered by February 10th. And then again, there's just a reminder about how to go onto campus and register. So that's a lot of information. This PowerPoint will be online, so if you missed something or if you want to go through it with your parents, you can do that. It'll be under the counseling department online. And we encourage you to take some time and register for some really good classes. Thanks, and have a great day.